If you haven't become rich yet, it's because you don't want to. Something in your mind, something deep in your subconscious is preventing you from becoming rich. And I know you'll get upset hearing this. I understand. I heard it for years too, and I refused to accept it. I didn't believe it. I said it's impossible. I want to become rich. It's the only thing I want in life. I wanted it like crazy. I wanted it like crazy. And I chased it for years. Nevertheless, before you become defensive, before you get upset with what you're hearing, before you say anything, watch this video, because I will tell you how with a few steps, you can change that and start attracting wealth like a magnet. First of all, this video is not for everyone. Let's make that clear. It is for very few people. And why is it for so few? Because most people have this skepticism. They have this tendency. That is inherent. We're not judging it. It's human nature. The mind works this way. It rejects anything new, anything different, anything a little outside the box, a little outside the norms, a little outside the stereotypes we've learned. If it has learned to operate in one way all its life and knows that. In school we were taught A, B, C, and that's how I operate. And that's how I do things. I've seen my parents work in a specific way. I've seen those around me make money in a specific way, and so on. It's really very difficult. Even if we don't consciously realize it, it's very difficult to change this. There's something very deep in the subconscious, and when I say deep, I mean the subconscious because physically it's located at the back of the mind, and unfortunately, it's what controls us. Our way of thinking, what we experience daily, that's where all the answers you want are. They are not outside. If you haven't become rich yet, it's not because you're lacking knowledge, abilities, skills. It's something else, inside you. But it truly is inside you. Something inside you is holding you back. And this video, if you stay to watch it, because it's a bit difficult to open your mind in such a way, but I promise you that when you do, you will truly see opportunities, you will see possibilities, you will see money. All around you, they will come like a magnet to you. Once you change this, if you're interested in that, stay to see how this changes the back of your mind. And we will go a little back. We will start back with how the mind is structured. Until about 50 years ago, there was a belief that the mind, the neurons, the brain cells, fire and wire together, meaning they create connections between each other and in this way generate reactions, thoughts, emotions, etc. To perform all functions, to speak, to walk, etc. From a young age, we learn this is how the brain cells function so that we can operate as humans up until. So, 50 years ago, they believed it didn't change. Once the mind, the brain is formed in this way, it doesn't change afterward. This, of course, has been rejected in recent years, and there are many, many, many books, studies, and many doctors, neuroscientists, who have conducted numerous studies on the brain, and have seen that this is not true, that the connections do change. Now, what happens in the early years of our lives, when we are infants from a very young age, from babies? This is the most critical point. In the first 6 months of a person's life, these connections in the brain are rapidly formed so that the developing brain can grow. It develops at a rapid, very fast pace. For this reason, it is extremely important if you are parents and have children. Many times, if the child is very young, parents talk as if saying, okay, it's a baby, it doesn't understand. This is the biggest mistake you can make with your child if you have children, because the first 6 months of a child's life are critical. How it absorbs, yes, consciously it may not remember them, what it heard, then, but it's the subconscious, that's how it's built. So imagine a couple, alright, who have just had a baby and are struggling financially, maybe they haven't managed their finances well, and they sit in front of the child, the 1-month-old child, I repeat, and say, oh, how are we going to make ends meet now that this child has come, what are we going to do? And we can't make it financially, etc. Thinking then that this child doesn't understand. He doesn't listen to them anyway. When this child grows up, besides having insecurities, he will feel burdened. As if, for example, I said, we also got the child, now we're burdened with this too, which is not uncommon, this happens. These discussions take place. So imagine such a child. When he hears his parents talking, he subconsciously absorbs this information about money, about how much we struggle, how hard it is to make money, which, I believe at least for us, A person who wasn't born a wealthy millionaire in a very rich family. Surely at least once, twice, 10 times in our lives, we will have subconsciously heard, we will have received such messages. All of us. Therefore, what we call limiting beliefs and the programming that has been done about money, I want to tell you that it happens from a very young age, and we don't realize it. Therefore, the first 6 months are critical. Then, the next 2 years are still developing, and then it develops more slowly, meaning the mind develops until adolescence. But the most critical part is the first 2 years, and especially the first 6 months of the child's life. But what happens now? These are of course stronger. When something happens at such a young age, the connections become very, very strong, and then any experience we have, any stimulus we encounter in our life, we operate based on these connections. This, of course, we said can change, and we will see. Stay with me to find out how it changes. There are many ways, but of course, it depends on how receptive the mind is. It depends on how exactly this personality we talk about is structured, the set of characteristics that define a person. Because some are a bit more receptive and some are less receptive. No, other factors also contribute to this, such as trauma, for example. If someone has experienced traumatic events in their life, which, okay, everyone has experienced in different ways, this creates not confusion, but rather a shock, we could say, when someone experiences trauma, especially in childhood. These brain connections quickly form new connections to protect you, and many times they even erase that trauma. It's what we call the, how do they say it, flight or fight response, when an animal realizes it can no longer save itself to save its life. If it's threatened by another animal that might eat it or something like that, it shuts down, mentally it switches off. How do they say it? It's like dying, like surrendering, so as not to feel pain. The brain shuts down to protect itself. Something similar happens with people who have experienced traumatic events. Certain parts shut down so you don't remember and don't suffer. If a child is called upon at a young age to make survival decisions, because a child's mind shouldn't be thinking about survival. It should be thinking about how to run, how to play, to dream, to do other things. However, unfortunately, in many cases, when a child is called upon to think like an adult or to think about how to escape from their home or how to survive, or something else, the normal functioning of the brain that should occur to build this child's brain smoothly does not happen smoothly. They make connections very quickly in order to survive. In other words, the brain develops prematurely, so to speak. And for this reason, these children are also smart. That's why if someone tells you in your life that you are smart, it's not a compliment. Don't say thank you. It's like they're telling you that your life is messed up, that your brain was forced to become smart because intelligence doesn't exist. It's purely connections, all of it. We all have the same brain, intelligence doesn't exist. So if someone ever tells you that you are quick-witted, that you are smart, it's not a compliment at all. It means you are severely traumatized. And it's not very positive to hear that. Because at some point in your childhood, your mind was forced to become smarter to survive, to deal with a situation it shouldn't have had to face then. We said that's not good. Of course, it's good to be smart, but the downside is that the smarter you are, the more you'll struggle with programming your mind. The harder the work, the more work you have to do, because if your mind has been built in the way I'm describing, and I'm giving a very long introduction about childhood, you might think I'm digressing and straying from the topic. But it's very important for you to understand this. I will also refer you to books if you want to learn more, to read about how the brain works, how you develop. When it has been built in this way, when you are smart in a few words, the mind is more fixed, and even if you don't want to admit it, to say I have an open mind, I am smart, I can understand. I can learn, yes, all that is fine, but when you are smart, the mind has created some very strong connections, some strong links between neurons, and it operates in this fixed way to protect you. Nevertheless, this changes. It changes. And here, if you haven't become rich yet, and you're frustrated, saying, but I have knowledge, I've attended seminars, I've acquired so much knowledge, I've read so many books, I've seen, I've done, I've shown. I've tried, I've started businesses and still fail. I'm smart, or I have skills, I have this, I have that, then this is it. If you think you've done everything, and haven't made the money you should be making, it's blocks. There are some barriers in your mind that you don't see, and that's the difficult part. Because when you see something, you know how to solve it, you work on it. When you don't see and don't know what that barrier is, it's harder to find and solve it. Now, how do we solve this? We understood how the mind works. There is so much we can say about this, of course, but let's now see how we change this and how we solve it. First of all, you need to do some healing. Whatever issues you have, I don't know what each person might have. We all have things within us that we might need to heal. They are unhealed, there are unresolved issues. You need to find out what they are and heal them. Now, how do we find them? One way is through meditation, which I recommend you to do. It's not something strange. It's not something that will make you feel uncomfortable. It's something that will help you the more often you do it, and the more time you dedicate to it, in whatever way you want. It will help you reach a higher consciousness, understand more things, and connect more with yourself. Because don't forget, all the answers are within you. There is nothing out there, nothing. I mean, I'll become rich. I'm missing this. I need to be in this condition at the right time. No, it's all inside. It's all limiting beliefs. So, in the first phase, you need to practice a little silence, meaning to sit alone whenever you have time, whenever you can, in a calm, quiet environment where no one will disturb you. To close your eyes or keep them open, whatever suits you. However you feel comfortable. To close your eyes and do breath work, taking inhales and exhales, and try to focus on your breathing or on the void, what we call stepping into the void. This is, of course, for more advanced practitioners. I will make a video if there is demand for it on how to do quantum leaps and quantum jumping, so that from this timeline you are in, from this reality, you can jump to a new frequency where what you want exists. Because everything is out there. The millionaire version of yourself is a quantum possibility. You are now living this because you have collapsed into it. Your consciousness is collapsed into this reality. This changes at any moment when you shift, but this requires more specialized techniques which I will not mention in this video because they require some different skills. So initially, if you are complete beginners and this is the first time you're hearing this and have no idea how to start, to find out what's going wrong, what you're doing, and how to do it, it's this silence. To sit for 5 to 10 minutes a day at first, just to sit with yourself. Don't think, be careful. This is another trap, what we now call ADHD, anxiety, overthinking, where everyone has many thoughts. All of these are trapped energy. There are no thoughts. Your mind should be empty. If you think all day, the internal dialogue begins, blah blah, and nonsense. Nonsense, because it takes a scenario and replays it over and over without changing anything. Nothing changes. Why do you say it to yourself? It makes no sense. This is destructive. All of this is energy. It's trapped energy from past trauma that wants to get released. This energy wants to be released. That's why this voice in our mind speaks. You need to not necessarily silence this voice, but observe it. Try to observe it like a third person, as if you are an external observer. Catch yourself every time the chatter starts inside and see how useful it is. Observe it without judgment, without criticizing it, without feeling bad. Try to stop this. At first, to lower it a bit, to quiet that voice and maybe listen to the birds chirping or the rustling of the leaves or the waves. If you are at the beach, something like that, focus on something like that at first. If you do this for a few days, they will come, the torrent will flow, the emotions will come out. Don't worry, it will come on its own. You don't need to do anything. Because many times people say, I'm doing it right. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm meditating now. What am I doing? It will come. You're doing it just fine. You don't need to wonder if you're doing it right. It will come on its own. And it will come at random moments. When you're not meditating, you will get something. Flashes of insight, so to speak, that will guide you. You will feel guided in some way. It's your inner self. Your own self. That. The higher self. That which is deep inside and is currently covered with mud and not visible. But as you do this, it gradually clears away. Slowly it lights up. The light will emerge. Because you shine, it's just that a bit of mud has gotten on. Because others throw mud as you grow up in life. But you also throw mud on yourself. So, where will the light come out from? Small rays emerge. But the more you uncover, the more you will shine. Because that's what you are. You are light inside. So, in the first phase, do some healing. Try to meditate. no matter how restless your mind is or how many thoughts you have. It's possible. It's possible for everyone. It just requires a little practice. You need to consciously sit down every day whenever you can and schedule it for 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning to practice it a little. Now let's go back to wealth because I think it might seem like I'm straying from the topic. I'm not straying at all. This is the key. This is the key to why you're not wealthy. Because it seems like what I'm saying is unrelated, like, well, what does this have to do with how I'll become wealthy, etc. This is it. It is 100% relevant. And it's the only way. How you become wealthy doesn't matter, because it can be different for everyone. It could be through investments. It could be through a cryptocurrency. It could be through a business. You might win the lottery. Someone might give you money. Someone might appear. It doesn't matter. The how is what is destructive when you start asking, but how? How will it happen? It's the lower self that doubts. It's a how of doubt. You need to cut out the how. While it's difficult, I know, it's logical. Many times, these things sound illogical. It's against logic, like, how will it happen since I'm earning thousands of euros a month? How will I become a millionaire next month? That holds you back. You're already putting a barrier on yourself. Your mind is holding you back. It says you won't become perfect. It can't be done. You're earning 1,000 euros a month. Leave it. Don't even try. Many times it starts from the illogical. And now let's move on to the second tip. We said the first is meditation, healing, which is very, very important. Just by taking the first step I mentioned, you will be guided afterward. You will lead yourself. You won't need to see anything else. You will find the path on your own. But then try to do something else, what we call visualization. But it's not just imagination, it's immersion, meaning to embody, to be physically present. Not just closing my eyes and imagining how I will be rich and how I will travel and where I will be, where I will live. All of that is fine. Very fine. But what you need to do is to embody every day, meaning, let's say you are now in a bad place, living in a bad house, driving a bad car, or you don't have a car at all, using the bus, going to a job you don't like at all. Your whole life is bad, you don't like it, you are dissatisfied with your job, with everything, with your life. Every minute you are awake, every minute you are moving, walking, you need to feel how your millionaire self would be. Your millionaire self, the moment you get on the bus. How would our millionaire self get on the bus? And now, listen to what you will say. Listen to what the mind will say. As if I would get on a bus. I would be a millionaire and get on a bus. Not even. A millionaire would have no problem getting on a bus. We think about these things from a lower self, that if I were a millionaire, I wouldn't enter this house, I wouldn't get in the car, I wouldn't go there, I wouldn't have this job. Yes, you wouldn't have them, I agree. But no, let's say you are a millionaire, now, right now, at this moment when you get on the bus to go to the job you hate, how would you get on? For some reason, I don't know, you landed. You're a millionaire, but you're a millionaire. What will you do? Will you get annoyed? Oh, I'm here. But no. You'll be calm. A millionaire is free, nothing bothers them, nothing irritates them, and even if the bus is packed, you'll see it as an experience. It will be fun. Look, how funny it is. We're all moving like a boat, right, left. Look how nice it is. You'll find something funny, you'll find something amusing, there will be laughter. There won't be that irritation in everything you do. This will change your life. When you do this, you need to be, not just to imagine. That's why I say visualization is not enough. I sit on my bed and dream about how it will be when I have the money I want, etc. That's very good. But when you open your eyes afterward and see reality, that's when the dream fades. I don't want that to fade. I want you to do it with your eyes open. Every time you do anything, go to the bathroom, in that lousy bathroom. Whatever you do, really whatever you do, do it. You have to consciously think that at this moment I am a millionaire and I am making these moves. I'm doing stealth wealth, after all. I don't want to wear Gucci, or Prada, or anything. I want to be in my tracksuit and take a walk down the street, on the same street I always walk, like a millionaire. So you need to do embodiment and see how you feel about it. Think as if it has happened, and think in the first phase, spontaneously, very spontaneously, without overthinking it. What comes to mind? What feelings? This is where blocks usually start to emerge. Because, let's say, someone might say, oh, yes, but I would leave my family behind. You start to feel a pang of guilt. This is an example. Someone might feel very close to their family and not want to leave them, for example, if they want to move or leave or anything like that. There is something. It's usually a fear, because fear takes many forms. It's the fear of leaving something behind. It's usually guilt, shame, feelings of guilt. Think and try to create an environment. You are now, just as you are. Because many times, when we do visualization, we think about how we will be when we become. Let me give you an example. Let's say, without wanting to do any body shaming or anything like that, let's say a person has extra weight that they want to lose, all right. And maybe at this moment, the conditions of their life are so stressful that they can't find the time to go to the gym, to take care of their health, their diet, working from morning till night. I'm giving you an example, and they come home at night and eat junk, eat whatever they find, and can't focus on their health. So their plan is, when I become rich, I'm building my business now or something, trying to. When I become rich, I will be in good physical shape and will take care of my health and my diet. All of this is very good, but look now at how it immediately limits the mind. Look, because when this person goes to do visualization or imagine how they will be rich, they think of the thin, the slim version of themselves. Not necessarily thin, but in good physical shape, you know what I mean. They imagine how they will exercise, how they will eat, what foods they will consume. They imagine something in the future, not in the present, because right now they eat junk food. Right now, they don't exercise. So there's a disconnection between where you are and where you want to be. What does this person need to do? I'm eating junk right now. I'll fix it. We don't think about it. It doesn't concern us. It will be fixed later. Without having dyed my hair, without having had plastic surgery, without anything, without self-care. As you are now, even if you're a mess, even if you feel like a mess, think that you are a millionaire because you say, yes, I will fix this when I become one. And you immediately send this into the future. Your mind, you send it into the future, the distant future. You don't bring it to the now. If you feel kind of lousy, and I include the physical aspect, because some people might say, for example, I've heard it in many cases, they say, yes, I have this insecurity. I will fix it when I make my first money. When I make a certain amount. Now, think now, just as you are now, even if you don't like something, whether it's physical, inside you, or anything, now you are a millionaire, just as you are. In your sweats, feeling lousy, in your slippers, you found yourself. A millionaire like that. You are. Just be. You are. Don't think about it in the future, because immediately you put your mind on a timeline that is distant. You need to feel every day how the millionaire version of yourself will be. The next thing I will also tell you has to do with image and is related to the modern era, which we all have, and I don't know why we all have it more or less. I believe it's from very old times, when the strong would impose themselves, and we wanted to stand out and prove our strength to other people, something like that. It's the need to show off, the need for display. And we all have it more or less. It manifests as success for some, for others, as a display of wealth, and for others through physical appearance. That's why all the filters exist, after all. On Instagram, on TikTok, on all the apps you apply a filter and become a different person. There are so many ways to do this. So think about being millionaires, multimillionaires, or even more. Not telling anyone about it. But think about not posting your new car, not posting your new house, not posting the 5-star hotel you'll visit, not posting the trips you'll take, not posting the new bag you'll get, that you'll buy. To do nothing. To not tell anyone. Think about no one knowing. To become a mega millionaire now and not post a single thing. And let me tell you something, the truly rich, and I mean truly, not millionaires, but billionaires, they don't post. They don't post their lives. Their daily life is like that. A poor person will buy a Louis Vuitton shirt and take 100 photos with that shirt. They will go on a trip once in their life, once a year, and take 250 photos to post. They will go to a 5-star hotel and spa once and shoot 100 vlogs. They will get a car with a loan, get inside, won't have a dime, won't have anything to eat afterward. And they will flex it everywhere, constantly. This need, then, is the need of the poor. And this is a vicious cycle, because what you want to do, to show off initially to whom? To whom? To other poor people. That's the truth. This is the need, then, of the poor who want to act rich in front of other poor people. The truly wealthy person, if you've ever had the chance to meet one, how you will start to attract wealth in various and different forms into your life. You might know people who are very, very different from your usual circle. Let me say, a very different financial situation from yours. People you only saw on television until now, and you'll see that many things will change in your life. You will start to attract forms of wealth. These are signs from the universe that it's coming to you as well. If you remain surrendered, if you stay open and receptive to all of this. So if you've ever had the chance to meet a truly very, very wealthy person, we're not talking about someone who has 100,000 euros or 1 million. We're talking about a multimillionaire or billionaire. You'll notice that many of these post sunsets, landscapes, maybe a dog, their dog. They don't post their daily lives. In other words, it's exactly the opposite. The opposite of what all of us do. For us, our daily life is a mess, all day long. Work, home, mess, clothes, mess, car, driving, and once a year when we go on vacation, that's when we post. We post that, look, I'm living the best life. I'm at a luxury hotel and restaurant, etc. They do the opposite. Every day they're on yachts, every day they travel, every day they drive extremely expensive cars. And when they post once in a while, to their 50, to their 100 friends, because they don't have more, they don't have thousands of followers, they don't have thousands of friends, to the 50 people. They will post the sunset, they will post the coffee they drink in the morning, they will post a walk they take, a tree, something like that. They will be in slippers every day. So, once you understand this, you will start to feel it's easier this way. If you see this or if you realize it, it will also be easier to take the step we mentioned earlier, making the environment easier. Because now you say, I'm wearing shabby clothes, cheap ones. I don't feel rich. I don't feel wealthy the way I am. I want to wear a suit. I want to dress nicely. Think about it, the millionaire. The millionaire is in slippers. He's in slippers. Every day, he doesn't care. He doesn't care to show off to anyone. And this is a tendency that all people have. And as I said before, it manifests differently in each person. I don't know why this happens. It's a tendency that arises correctly from comparison. It might be in our DNA, due to evolution and so on. But now there is no reason for it. We don't live in the jungle. We're not trying to show who is the strongest or anything like that. There is no reason. The point is for you to be happy, not to show other people that you are happy, for you to be rich and free, to live a life that satisfies and fulfills you, not to show on Instagram or social media the life you lead. And after all, the truth, you know what it is. Who cares? No one cares even if you want to show off and say, okay, I'm not saying it's bad. Take a picture from the 5-star hotel. And from all this, that's not the point. The point is that no one really cares. You think that all eyes are on you because of the ego. We have the selfishness that we are the center of the world and that everyone is looking at us, envying us, and admiring us. People don't care, not even your friends. No one cares for a reason. Furthermore, you'll see that the comparison and this whole need to show off is it does not align with your personal freedom and growth. It will not truly make you happy. You need to want to pursue wealth for happiness, freedom, your own and that of your family or the people you love. Not necessarily family, but the people you love and who love you. So, these steps, when taken, lead to the final stage where you can change, where you can hack the reality you live in. Because reality, your reality, what you see is something very subjective. This is my reality. You create it. It is a reflection. When you understand this, it is a reflection of how you feel inside. If you feel terrible, your reality will be terrible. You need to change your inner self. If you feel good, free, happy, and abundant every day, that is what you will start to attract. If you take these steps we discussed in this video and apply them, I want you to be a bit alert in the coming days to observe. What will change? Look, some things will come into reality. It's just that you notice them, you see them, because reality has changed. You understand in this way. You understand that your reality has changed. You will start to see things that are outside of your routine, meaning you do the same thing every day. You get in the car or the bus, you go to work, you come back, you eat this food, etc. See the routine in this. Something different, something will come that is outside, something you do not expect. I want you to be alert in the coming days, to see something unusual. Usually, we can explain this. It may be related to wealth, or it may not, but it can also be something different. For example, you might see things that weren't there, strange things, that is. To each person, it speaks in a different way, things that will make sense to you, something that speaks to you, which for someone else might be insignificant, okay. Let's say, a chair, for example, but for you to say, but this chair was never like this, just an example, a silly example. You will see many, many different things that will seem like they are changing the timeline, as if your reality is changing, as if you've made a quantum leap. When you start seeing this in your life, it means you are on the path to changing your reality. And that is powerful. So here, when you start seeing this, there is a possibility that fear might arise. The mind always tries to hold you back, even at the last moment. Even though you have done the work and started to change your reality, the mind will begin to create fear again. To hold you back, to bring you back to the safety zone. You're not safe out there. That's where you shouldn't let it. You shouldn't let fear take over you, because it's very powerful. When you change your reality, different things will start happening in your life. You need to welcome these into your life. It might seem like something unexpected, like something that needs your attention, like something that, maybe even something bad, something broke. From my personal experience. Crazy things. Even a breakdown in a car that had just been serviced, brand new, where there was no issue, just so I would stop at a place I needed to go. I mean, crazy things. I won't say right now, but I've heard incredible things from other people as well. Once you do this, you'll see that you shouldn't be afraid there. Because if you do all this and are 100% surrendered and follow the path that is for you, that has been made for you, which is not only for the highest good but for your absolute happiness, your absolute freedom, what you truly want. Where wealth is also a part of this. It is a part of this. Once you get there, because most people do it the other way around, they first seek wealth, chase after riches, and then feel free. Then they think, I'll quit my job, I'll feel free, happy, joyful, etc. It's exactly the opposite. It will never happen, even if you somehow become wealthy. If you don't already feel happy, free, joyful, or whatever you desire, money will never make it happen. It will be momentary at the time you make the money. You'll feel good, it will last 1 or 2 months, at most, it will last a year, and then you'll be in the same situation, and worse. And why will it be worse? Because you say, what's going wrong, why am I not happy yet? Even worse, because then you won't know how to solve it. And unfortunately, we have examples in history from celebrities, from people who suddenly became rich and hadn't worked. Unfortunately, we see what the outcome is, the mind can't. That's why I told you at the beginning, do healing. Very important. It's very important because if it comes, and it will come suddenly, not if. You can't imagine the speed at which it comes when you make that quantum leap and stop saying how logic and how I earn this much. When these stop, your mind is not limited. It can come from anywhere. It can come, what we say, I can't imagine. That's what your mind shouldn't do. It shouldn't imagine. Because if it does, it's logical to start asking how, to start wondering how it will happen, where it will come from, how I will get the money, how and why. It's a limitation. Because if you start asking how and find the ways, you'll find 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 ways, investments, businesses, lottery, I don't even know what, 5 ways. You limited yourself. Because there might be another way for you that will come to you, and you might block it. Because you're not open to it. It doesn't even cross your mind. So you need to be completely surrendered. Let it come as it wants. You don't care. Feel it. Believe that it will come this way, and go out, do the same things you always do, without expectations. That's the key, because you expect nothing. Go out, start your day, without expectations. You shouldn't take this wealth off the pedestal you've placed it on. It's important. Money is extremely important. But as long as you have it so high and so, you think about it every day from a place of lack. Like, oh, I don't have it, and when will it come, and how do I get it? And I watch all these videos. How, and disappointment and all this stress. Instead, you have exactly the opposite effect. You need to think about it from a place of abundance, that I have it, that it will come, I am so sure, that I don't even need to think about it. I am sure, I don't need to think about it. It's like water. Water is essential for us to live. If we don't have water, we will die. But do you think every day, water, water, what will I do, if I don't have water, I will die? No, because it is abundant. Water is plentiful around you. You turn on the faucet and put your head under it and drink. You don't think about it. It's essential for survival. It's essential for life. But you don't obsess over it. That's how I want you to think about money, like water. It's necessary, but it's there. I already have it. So first, you need to feel happy, joyful, and free now, even if things are bad, the state you're in, and then you'll see how it will start to make a beautiful shift. Your reality will automatically change, meaning you shouldn't let fear take over when you see it changing, because it will happen, as I told you, with great speed. If you are completely surrendered, and say this is the situation, I make peace with it, only then will it start to change. And this change can be abrupt, and I need to say this to warn you that because often the change is so abrupt, and you know, the mind fights change, it fears change, because since it will be so abrupt, the change might close it off, shut it down, put the brakes on it. The mind might say, I'm afraid. People fear change. We like the familiar. We like the known, the comfort zone. We don't want to step too far out of the routine, out of the safety. However, everything you want is outside the comfort zone. And once you make that safety and change the reality, they will automatically appear. That's why we say manifest. What does manifest mean? It doesn't mean something we attract, pulling it from outside and law of attraction and such, bringing it from outside, taking it from somewhere else. It simply appears. You don't see it. You don't see it because you live in another reality that your mind has built to keep you safe. Once you close that reality and activate the other one that you like, that you want to be in, very simply, everything you want will just manifest. They will appear. You don't need to chase them, think about them, have this obsessive relationship. Where's the money? Where will I find? It will simply appear. And the way it happens will be so strange that it will be funny. You won't believe it. It will be so strange and so unexpected that it will surprise you. We don't let the fear of change overwhelm us and we accept what is coming. So tell me, which of these have you applied? Write your results below. What changed? If you applied these, what did you see change in your reality? And as always, stay away from scams and see you in the next video.